Hello, and welcome back to Your Story is Your Portal. And I am absolutely delighted and excited to be interviewing Cheryl because I have been wanting to interview you, Cheryl, for such a long time. So I'm really, really excited. We have actually known each other for quite a long time. I think at least 15 years, probably.
At least way back when I took a writing workshop from you that I adored, and I still have my little briefcase that I refer to now and then. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. But we have both changed so much in those 15 years. And that's why I'm so excited to interview you, because really, I think that you are the best example of your story being the portal to your true soul purpose. And the same with me. We've both been through these amazing journeys. And now we have landed. We have totally landed. So let our audience know, what are you doing now, Cheryl?
Sure. Well, I have the privilege and excitement of really inspiring people to trust and follow their intuition. I left the corporate world way back when, many years ago, followed a calling that has never left. And I remember kicking and screaming the whole way while I did it, because it was so outside the norm of what I ever thought I'd do. So my story is one of profound trust. It's listening to that deeper voice and the willingness to have the courage to do things differently, to break the rules. So what I do today is I have developed an intuitive process that I call the intuitive life peace process, so that thought leaders, entrepreneurs can create the tangible, measurable results they really want from a place of peace and joy, and really nip burnout and really nip it before it takes control. And the reason I'm so passionate about this is because way back when my son went through a critical illness, I call it the dark night of the soul that took me to my knees. I know what it's like to burn out. I know what it's like to come back. And I also recognize that, you can achieve your goals, but what we're really looking towards is to achieve a pattern change, a behavior change. Goals will come and go, but behavior change, that's what we really want to target. So I love my work. I do one-on-ones, I coach, I speak, I have lots of tools, NLP. I study voraciously neuroscience, and I'm a real fan of Carl Jung. So I like bringing in the power of the unconscious mind, which we all have access to. So I'll end with this one question for everyone listening. Where do you refuse to let life be easier?
Where do you refuse to let life be easier? Wow, that's a very deep question.
I know. And here I am, Miss Intuitive, and I have to ask myself that question every day, because we're not only going through our own individual process, we're also going through a process together as humanity. And that's why I love what you're up to, because the clearer we are on what brings us peace, we're affecting the field. So when I bring peace into my own life, I am doing my part to bring peace into the world, because my life is reflected in the outer world.
Yeah.
So it's in many ways a huge responsibility, and in other ways, it's really claiming this deeper power we all have within us. And it comes back to the spiritual side, which is, I have this power within me. If I am engaging in fear and doubt and overwhelm, then I'm not trusting it.
Mhm.
And I think the problems of the world will all come down to only one decision, not trusting this inner power inside.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I think we definitely don't have enough time to talk about this topic because it's a very passionate topic of mine as well. As you know, I've got myself, sometimes people would see that as into trouble because I've always followed my intuition. But, having some actual tools to help people know how to do it. And it's so interesting that, we're told all the time, don't worry about the how, don't worry about the how, just trust. But, a lot of people, they need some guidance with that. They need to know, well, how do I know that's my intuition and not my mind that's just playing tricks with me? Or, I think we need tools and we need to help people to understand what is intuition and how can you listen to that intuition. And I love this question. Where do we not allow life to be easier? Can you give me an example from your own life?
Sure. Well, for example, even getting ready for this podcast, it's like, as when you're in the public eye, it's like, oh, okay, I gotta put this all together and it's got to sound good so that, and it's like, wait a minute, be authentic and be you. And so the temptation for all of us, and this is what we're evolving as a species, is that we are unhooking ourselves from this perfectionism, from this critical voice, from this, and I borrow this from an author, the unconscious collusion that we have with suffering. I know.
Right.
So it's like I catch myself often, and I love reframes. So how do you be intuitive? And if the how's going to take care of itself, okay, well then how do you do the how of doing that? which is, and I call it the ABCs of intuition. First of all, be aware of, okay, what's going on right now? Like, am I feeling grounded in my body? Am I scattered? Like, what's going on? And then, become aware and then breathe. And so when we breathe, of course, it automatically relaxes us and, gets us out of fight, flight, freeze, hopefully, if we're not too far down the rabbit hole. And then connect to the heart, because as soon as we connect with the heart, we calm down, and now we've got access to the executive function in the brain. So in neuroscience, what we're really talking about here is going from caveman brain to bliss brain. It's totally doable. And the big thing is the awareness that change is uncomfortable, but it's worth the price of admission.
Oh, wow. I love that. The last episode that I did, not the last one, but the one before was about the unconscious mind. And it's amazing because it actually completely fits into this ABC that you just talked about. I had a situation, and I'll make it as short as possible, but basically, I had separated from my partner, and I was not aware of the unconscious program that was playing in the background at all. I was not aware of it. I was kind of I was feeling a heaviness, but I was just ignoring it and getting on with life, And then I had this particular day where I decided, okay, I'm just going to have to, get an Uber, and I'm going to have to go to this destination, and I'm just going to have to get this job done that previously Daniel had a truck and it would have been so easy. So I was like, okay. So, and during that process, and when I got to the bank, everything went crazy. And I'm just like, okay, hang on a minute, just take a breath, because I was just like panicking. I was close to tears, and I'm having this like conversation with the bank manager. I'm like, Julie, this is crazy. You're just about to, I could feel it all welling up. And I was like, I'm just about to burst into tears to the bank manager. This is crazy. And I just thought, okay, just breathe. And that's what I did. I went and sat down, and I sat there and I just breathed. And I was like, what's going on here? What's going on? What's going on? And then I did exactly what you said, and I connected to my heart, right? And when I connected to my heart, I just burst out crying because I realized, oh my God, I lost my best friend. I lost my best friend. How did I let that happen? And I realized that, we had blocked each other on WhatsApp, and we blocked each other on Facebook. We had done everything to not allow us to even connect and reflect and talk about that. So I'm just like, it was that moment of like you said, connecting to the heart and then going, oh my God, what have I done? Anyway, I was just like, oh, okay, I need to find a solution for this. And I walked into the supermarket, and guess who was walking directly towards me? But Daniel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you talk about, the other dimension, and when you talk about the unconscious and time, and suddenly you're like, how could that possibly happen? Synchronicity. I mean, really? Seriously? I mean, no, there's something much bigger playing a part here, right?
Oh, definitely. And, synchronicity is my passion. I love it. It has been so extraordinary. Like you, I have had so many extraordinary experiences with synchronicity and out-of-body death experiences. You name it, I've had it. And I think we're at a time in human history where each one of us need to take a step back and start really acknowledging that there is something so powerful that is happening. We can't dismiss this anymore. We can't say, oh, wow, that was cool. Well, yeah, it was, but what are you going to do with it? And so,
right.
These experiences that we have are taking us deeper and deeper into letting go of the fear that runs our life and helping us get very clear on what's most important and to trust ourselves that no matter what the situation, we do have within us the resources to resolve, and there's a bigger picture. And so when we breathe, we're accessing the bigger picture. And I'm so humbled and so grateful for listening to my intuition. It's gritty work.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful phrase that I love that talks about the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, gentleness, goodness, faith, temperance. And those are the gifts. The grit is letting go of this compulsion, unconscious, where you make life more difficult than we need to. And if I could live my life all over again, you know what I'd do differently? I'd have more fun. I would make fun the driving force of my life, because fun has a way of looking at difficulty and taking it far less personally. And, sometimes, great things are going to happen, and sometimes really difficult things are going to happen. The bottom line is that inside each of us, there is a spark that is beyond disturbance. It's always there. And so where am I putting my attention? And right now, given the world situation the way it is, it's like, okay, Cheryl, what are you going to do with this? And if my outer reality, if I start thinking of the outer reality in my life as being a mirror, that's instant. Right?
Yep.
So in the 3D world, yes, there's a time delay. However, the grittiest thing we can do is this current thought that I'm having what I really want to create?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, how quickly can I pivot? How quickly can I come back to love? How quickly am I willing to drop, again, the unconscious programming? And how creative can I make it? How interesting can I make it?
Mm-hmm.
How fun can I make it?
Yes.
And okay, so this is where I'm going to come back to you. One of the things that I so appreciate, and it has not changed in all these years, is the capacity for joy. Your life is a testament of, even though you have been through incredible pain, and what a metaphor for the cycles that we'll all go through. Every single one of us, we are going to go through the dark night of the soul. Every single one of us at some point in our lives. And to know that you're going to get through it, and you're going to come out better, stronger, even more vibrant. So kudos, Julie, because your life is a living example and representation that when you do follow your intuition, you're going to have some wild, weird, wonderful, and wonky experiences. You may challenge the very fabric of reality.
Yes.
And here's my caveat for following intuition, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that it must be grounded in practicality. It must be measurable. And it's a fine line. It's like, yes, we're going to be asked to do things that are totally unusual. And my discernment feature that I've learned the hard way with intuition is, if I can't measure the results I say I want to get, then as much as I might feel I'm on track, there's room for improvement. There's room for calibration. And how kind will I be to myself as I calibrate?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that about the joy piece, because, yes, I've been through some crazy things in the last few years. And, that I had an enormous amount of joy in my life when I was with Bazooka, like literally dancing through life. And it seems like since his death, I've been hit across the head multiple times with a big 2x4. And each time that happens to me, I realize, well, okay, I guess I just, I am still learning. I still need to understand what that chaos taught me. And then I need to just pick myself up, brush myself off, and just get on with it. And, I know a lot of people kind of watch what's going on in my life. And sometimes they're like, what? And this latest, episode with Daniel was, to me, a really, really good example of how the reason I can always be in joy is because I stay open to curiosity. And instead of saying, why did this happen to me? I say, what is this giving me? What is this? What is the gift in this? And, and sometimes when I say that to people, they're shocked. They're like, how can you say that there was a gift in Azuka dying? I'm like, well, I got to have a different relationship with him on the other side. I didn't even know that existed before he went on the other side. So that's a true gift, like a really true gift, that now I get to have a completely different relationship with him and discover that, wow, you know what? We don't ever really die. So, all those people that are kind of stuck in grief and that journey, I can say, well, there's a gift. There's a gift in every death that happens, because you, as a spiritual being having a human experience, now gets to have that spiritual experience on the spiritual side with your loved one who's no longer in a human body. So, that's the gift in that. And, what is the gift in me being paralyzed for 2 months and not being able to walk? Well, the gift in that was understanding my body, really, really, truly, truly understanding my body, and realizing again that we are a spiritual being in a human body. It's just a costume that we're wearing, right? And when you really think about it, if you listen to your body, you listen carefully, you can then start running that program yourself, right? You can actually direct that costume as if it was a puppet, and you can completely influence your body and what happens in your body. And so it's like, but it all comes down to, Cheryl, what you are saying. You have to be able to listen. And if you can't listen, then all the things that everybody says make no sense whatsoever, because even this latest episode that happened to me was such an important discovery, right? That I think in my mind, I know what's going on, but my unconscious mind is really running the show. And unconsciously, my heart that is breaking because I lost my good friend is directing my life to make sure that we walked into each other and we reconnected. And it's like, wow, like that awareness piece, that's a tricky one, right?
Absolutely. And, I'm reminded of the studies that they've done for executives on the power of reflection, how important it is between, appointments, between calls, to take just that 5 minute out to write down what you learned from your interaction with that person or that meeting or whatever. And it's the power of reflection, and then sharing that reflection with another person, that the insights come and are integrated. So in business, the research that they've done around listening, around reflection, is proof of the pudding. And in business, if they're all over this, then it's valuable. So where I have really appreciated this path of intuition I've been on is the word courage. Because as soon as I find myself going off, or maybe, and I love what you said, you learn how to really appreciate your body and communicate with your body. That's huge. So that courage piece to actually slow down enough, because we work in a society that demands just crazy productivity. But how can you be productive if you're not even thinking straight? And so it's a false positive, right? So this ongoing awareness is to be present. Okay, am I being here for myself right now? And I think that's such a valuable question.
Yeah. Well, it seems that our minds literally, we don't, for me, that was a huge observation, that my unconscious mind was listening to my heart. My conscious mind was pushing it down and denying it. But my unconscious mind was completely aware of what my heart was saying. And my intuition, I never, ever, ever doubt it anymore, because I've been following it since I left England in 1998. So it's never It's never failed me, even though sometimes it feels like you are doing something like you said, that's crazy. And you're like, really? Really? but I've learned to just accept it, right? And just say, okay, this may seem like it's crazy, but I have got to follow this because I know that this is the way it works. And so when I was deciding when to go to Bucerias, which is like an hour away, you know, I didn't make a plan. I didn't like say, oh, I must go at 3:00 or whatever. I just decided, you know what, this is something I really don't want to do. So I'm just going to feel into it. And when it feels like it's the right time to go, I'm just going to pick up the phone and I'm going to order the Uber there straight away. That's how I decided it was the only way, because it was something that I really didn't want to do. And that's how I bumped into Daniel, right? Because if I had made a plan,
yes,
there's no way. I mean, he was coming from Puerto Vallarta, which is 2 hours further south, and he only stopped at that supermarket to go to the washroom, right? So it was like this tiny little 5-minute window maximum, right? And I'm coming from 1 hour north in the opposite direction. And we both happened to intersect in that exact supermarket at that exact time. And we just literally, it was like there was some movie playing and the director just said, you know, like, go. And then we just walked in. He walked out from the washroom. I walked in to the supermarket at exactly that moment. And because he is also a very intuitive man, when he saw me, it was more significant than, you know, just a coincidence.
Yeah.
It was just like, Well,
you know, I love that's just such a powerful example, and really speaks to, I think, this, and this is where I just love synchronicity, because it speaks to a deeper meaning of life. And at the end of the day, when each one of us leave the planet, when we really live intuitively, we are living in alignment with the synchronicity of something so vast that keeps us living in a state of awe and wonder.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so healing and so calming, and yet so exciting at the same time, because now we have something to look forward to, and we're creating self-mastery, because that primal brain that has a negativity bias, it totally discounts the positive. So I love the neuroscience piece of how your unconscious mind created a reality in 3D that is impossible.
Yep.
Which speaks to whatever it is any one of us want to create in our lives that can appear to be impossible. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these potentials exist. So the ABCs of intuition put us in alignment with the heart so that we're in alignment to the potential. And this is where it gets so exciting, because, again, anyone listening to this podcast, look at all the number of times in your life you have been unstoppable. And when you sit down and think about it, you know, that primal brain doesn't count those times. But your intuitive brain, your bliss brain, goes, this is where it's at.
Yes. Oh, Cheryl, we're out of time, and we have had such an amazing conversation. I feel like we need to do more. It could be like, this was part 1. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. But I think there's going to be a lot more of this conversation. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Julie, and have fun following your intuition and inspiring your listeners to do the same.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for walking through today's portal. I invite you to subscribe, share, and join me inside the House of Story Medicine for deeper journeys, book mentorship, and soul story retreats in Mexico. Because your voice matters.
I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we're honored to have Julianne's show, Your Story is Your Portal, as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com, and don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift vault. Stay high vibe and keep sharing your life.